Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Maria. I'm Emma.
And I'm Luka. It's great to have you here with us again.
Hi, Luka. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited about today's lesson because it's something very useful for everyday situations.
That's right. Today we're going to learn how to speak English at a restaurant.
Many English learners feel a little nervous when they need to order food in English.
Sometimes they know the words, but they're not sure how to ask politely.
Don't worry. Today we'll show you simple phrases you can use step by step.
But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
And click the like button if you enjoy learning English with us.
It really helps the channel and allows us to create more lessons for you.
Now, let's talk about the first situation you might experience when you arrive at a restaurant.
Yes, usually the first thing you need to do is ask for a table.
In many restaurants, there is a host or a waiter near the entrance who helps customers find a table.
When you arrive, it's polite to greet the person first.
For example, you might say hello or good evening.
After that, you can ask for a table.
One of the most common expressions is a table for two, please.
This means you would like a table for two people.
If you are alone, you can say a table for one, please.
And if you are with friends or family, you can say something like, a table for four, please.
Another polite way to ask is by using a full question.
For example, you might say, excuse me, do you have a table for two?
Or, do you have a table available?
These expressions sound polite and natural.
Many people also use the phrase, could we have a table for two?
Yes, could we have is a very polite way to ask for something.
After you ask for a table, the host or waiter will usually respond.
If the restaurant has a table available, they might say something like, of course, please follow me.
Or, yes, right this way.
Sometimes they might also ask a question.
For example, how many people?
In that case, you simply answer with the number.
For example, 2 people.
Or, there are 3 of us.
However, sometimes the restaurant is very busy.
If that happens, the host might say, I'm sorry, there's a short wait.
Or, it will be about 10 minutes.
In that situation, you can say, that's okay, we'll wait.
Let's look at a simple example conversation.
Good evening. A table for two, please.
Of course. Please follow me.
Or another example,
Excuse me, do you have a table available?
yes, we do, right this way.
As you can see, the conversation is usually short, polite, and very simple.
Once you are seated at the table, the next step is asking for the menu.
Now that you have your table, the next step is usually asking for the menu.
Yes, in most restaurants, the waiter or waitress will bring the menu to your table, but sometimes you may need to ask for it.
There are several polite ways to ask for the menu in English.
One very common phrase is, can we see the menu, please?
This expression is simple, polite, and very natural in everyday conversations.
Another polite way to ask is, could we have the menu, please?
The phrase, could we have, sounds a little more polite and is often used in restaurants.
Some people also say, may I see the menu, please?
All of these expressions are correct and commonly used when speaking to a waiter.
When you ask for the menu, it's always polite to use words like please.
And when the waiter gives you the menu, you should say, thank you.
Politeness is very important when speaking in English, especially in restaurants.
Let's imagine a short example conversation.
Excuse me, could we have the menu, please?
Of course, here you are.
Thank you.
Sometimes the waiter may also ask you a question after giving you the menu.
For example, they might say, would you like something to drink while you look at the menu?
In that situation, you can order a drink right away.
For example, you might say, yes, I would like a glass of water, please.
Or, I'd like an orange juice, please.
If you are not ready to order drinks yet, you can answer politely.
For example, you can say, just water for now, please.
Or, we need a few minutes to decide.
After you receive the menu, you can take some time to look at the different dishes and drinks.
Many people also ask questions about the food before ordering.
For example, you might ask, what do you recommend?
Or, what is the most popular dish?
Another question could be, is this dish spicy?
Or, does this meal include vegetables?
Asking questions like these can help you understand the menu better.
And it can also help you choose the dish you would like to order.
Now that you have the menu and you've had a few minutes to look at it, the next step is ordering your food.
Yes, this is the moment when you tell the waiter what you would like to eat and drink.
In English, there are several polite ways to order food in a restaurant.
One of the most common phrases is, I would like.
For example, you can say, I would like the chicken salad, please.
Or, I would like the grilled fish with vegetables.
Another very common expression is, can I have,
For example, can I have a cheeseburger, please?
or can I have the pasta, please?
Both expressions are very polite and very common in restaurants.
Sometimes people also say, I'll have,
For example, I'll have the steak.
or I'll have the vegetable soup.
This expression sounds natural and is often used in casual restaurant conversations.
When ordering drinks, you can use the same expressions.
For example, you might say, I would like a glass of water, please.
Or, can I have a lemonade, please?
Another example could be, I'd like a cup of coffee.
If you want more than one item, you can simply add them to your order.
For example, I would like a chicken sandwich and a glass of orange juice.
Or, can I have the pasta and a salad, please?
Sometimes the waiter may ask you questions about your order.
For example, they might ask, how would you like your steak?
In that case, you might answer, medium, please.
Or, well done, please.
The waiter might also ask, would you like something to drink?
And you can answer, yes, I would like a glass of water.
Or, I'll have a soda, please.
Sometimes the waiter may ask if you would like a dessert.
For example, would you like dessert?
If you do, you can say, yes, I would like the chocolate cake.
Or, can I have an ice cream, please?
After you finish ordering, the waiter will usually confirm your order.
They might say something like, okay, one chicken salad and one lemonade.
And you can simply respond, yes, that's correct.
Or just say thank you.
Now, let's talk about something very important when speaking English in a restaurant: being polite.
Yes, politeness is a very important part of English communication, especially in places like restaurants, hotels, and shops.
When you speak politely, people feel more comfortable and the conversation becomes more friendly.
One of the easiest ways to sound polite in English is by using the word please.
For example, when you order food, you can say, I would like a coffee, please.
Or, can I have the chicken salad, please?
Adding the word please makes your request sound respectful and natural.
Another very important word in English is thank you.
You can say thank you when the waiter brings your food or your drink.
For example, when the waiter places your meal on the table, you can simply say, thank you.
You can also say thank you when the waiter gives you the menu.
or when they bring your drinks or help you with something.
These small expressions show good manners and appreciation.
Sometimes you may also need to get the waiter's attention politely.
In that situation, you can use the phrase, excuse me,
For example, you might say, "Excuse me, could we have some water, please?"
or excuse me, could we see the menu again?
These phrases are very common and help you speak politely.
Another important moment in a restaurant is when you finish your meal and want to pay.
In English, you can ask for the bill,
For example, you can say, the bill, please.
or "Can we have the bill, please?"
In American English, people often say the check instead of the bill.
So you might hear someone say, "Can we have the check, please?"
If you enjoyed the meal, you can also say something nice.
For example, "The food was very good, thank you."
Or, everything was great, thank you.
Using polite words like "please," "thank you," and "excuse me" makes a big difference.
It helps create a friendly and respectful conversation.
And it makes your English sound more natural.
Now let's talk about another important moment in a restaurant, asking for the bill.
Yes, after you finish your meal, you need to ask the waiter for the bill so you can pay.
In English, there are several polite ways to do this.
One very common expression is, "Can we have the bill, please?"
This is simple, polite, and very natural in restaurants.
Another way to ask is, "Could we get the bill, please?"
You can also say something shorter like, the bill, please.
In the United States, people often say check instead of bill.
So in American English, you might hear, can we have the check, please?
Or, "Could we get the check, please?"
Before asking for the bill, it's polite to get the waiter's attention.
You can say, "Excuse me."
For example, excuse me, can we have the bill, please?
After that, the waiter will usually respond politely.
They might say, of course, I'll bring it right away.
Or, "Sure, I'll be right back with the bill."
When the waiter brings the bill, it's polite to say, thank you.
These simple expressions will help you sound polite and natural in a restaurant.
Now, let's talk about the difference between the words bill and check.
Yes, both words mean the same thing in a restaurant. They both refer to the paper that shows how much you need to pay for your meal.
The main difference is how the words are used in different countries.
In British English, people usually say bill.
For example, in the United Kingdom, someone might say, can we have the bill, please?
This is the most common expression in the UK and in many other English-speaking countries.
In American English, people usually say, check.
For example, in the United States, someone might say, "Can we have the check, please?"
Both expressions are correct and polite.
The important thing to remember is that they mean the same thing.
So if you are in the UK, you will probably hear bill.
And if you're in the United States, you will probably hear check.
No matter which word you use, people will understand what you mean.
Just remember to say it politely.
For example, excuse me, can we have the bill, please?
Or in American English, or "Excuse me, can we have the check, please?"
Now, let's look at a full example of a conversation at a restaurant from start to finish.
Yes, this will help you see how all these phrases can be used together in a real situation.
Imagine you arrive at a restaurant and speak to the host at the entrance.
"Good evening. A table for two, please."
Good evening, of course, please follow me.
"Thank you.
The host shows you your table and gives you the menus.
Here are your menus."
Thank you very much.
After a moment, the waiter comes to your table.
Good evening, welcome. Would you like something to drink while you look at the menu?
Yes, I would like a glass of water, please.
And I'll have a lemonade, please.
Of course, I'll bring your drinks right away.
A few minutes later, the waiter comes back with the drinks.
Here you are.
Thank you.
Are you ready to order or do you need a few more minutes?
I think we're ready to order.
Great. What would you like?
I would like the grilled chicken with vegetables, please.
And I'll have the pasta with tomato sauce.
Excellent choice.
Would you like anything else?
No, that's all for now. Thank you.
All right, your food will be ready soon.
After some time, the waiter brings the food.
Here's the grilled chicken and the pasta.
Thank you.
After finishing the meal, the waiter returns.
How was everything?
It was very good, thank you.
We're glad you enjoyed it.
Would you like dessert or coffee?
Yes, I would like a chocolate cake, please.
And I'll have a cup of coffee.
Perfect. I'll bring that right away.
After dessert, you are ready to leave.
Excuse me, can we have the bill, please?
Of course, here you are.
Thank you.
As you can see, restaurant conversations in English are usually simple, polite, and very natural.
Practicing these expressions will help you feel more confident when speaking English at a restaurant.
Before we finish today's lesson, let's quickly review what we learned.
Today we talked about how to speak English naturally in a restaurant.
We learned how to ask for a table politely when you arrive.
Then we saw natural ways to order drinks and food.
We also explained what to say instead of using I want.
After that, we talked about how to ask the waiter for recommendations and how to get a waiter's attention politely using expressions like, "Excuse me."
We also learned how to ask for the bill correctly at the end of the meal.
And finally, we explained the difference between the words bill and check.
These simple expressions will help you feel more confident when speaking English in restaurants.
The best way to improve is to practice these conversations.
Thank you for learning with us today.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English lessons and conversations.
See you in the next lesson.